We're talking The Boys, episode 6, Though the Heavens Fall. After a couple episodes of not a lot really going on, a little bit of filler, we have an action-packed episode. Obviously, we get the introduction of the character Chet Vanderbilt, played by Paul Rising, who's really good in the episode. The boys are out seeking V1, and at the end of the episode, we finally get the reveal of who gets V1, and all hell is about to break loose. It's Smart League Films. Hit that like button, hit that sub button. Without further ado, let's jump into it. So, Scotty, we got a lot going on after a couple episodes of not really a lot going on and kind of filler. People complaining about it, saying, come on, man, this is the last season. Give us something. They pretty much give us everything that the boys should be in one episode. So, starting here, we have the introducing of the character of Chet Vanderbilt, played by Paul Rising, who he's charismatic. He's fun. He's working in the movie theater. Just starts out with definitely what I think the boys does well is they really let the personality of the character shine. And even people who get little moments seem to just take the most advantage of it. And I think Paul Reiser does a great job in this episode.
Yeah, I mean, I liked him when he came in on season 3. I mean, I liked Paul Reiser as an icon anyway.
Yeah.
But every line he delivers, it kind of reminds me of like if Rodney Dangerfield was still alive, God rest his soul, I feel like that would have been his role. Just the constant trash talk, but kind of makes it charming at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, he brings it all here. The sex jokes, the puns, all of that stuff he brings in. So we're introducing his character because MM is looking for him. He is the one person who can point them to the bomb site who, in episode 4, we found out he was the guy who probably took the last of the V1, and everyone is looking for him, including Soldier Boy, Homelander, and the boys. So MM tracks him down. Now, he finds him and obviously gives him a couple threats and says, you got to help us out. So we move on to that storyline. Also, on the other side, we have Sage, who has been tasked with recreating V1. We know she probably could put it together, but she really doesn't want to. So instead of that, we get people who get to get tested with the V1 and obviously just falling apart, which is a horrific thing to watch, especially to be the episode. I think I was eating and I was like, yeah, let me put my food away because I don't want to eat during this time. But we got that going on. Also, she asked the Deep to help her out with a pipeline kind of promo that's going on for Homelander. So, and also Homelander is critiquing her, saying, hey, man, I need this V1 done. Get it done. You're the smartest person in the world. If Dr. Vanderbilt can figure it out, you can too.
Yeah, and you know what? I think this may be one of my favorite episodes of The Deep. I really like the way they wrote The Deep in this episode. I liked that they finally showed us Sage and Homelander actually experimenting on people. I was about to say, when's that process going to start up? So yeah. I do like that, and I like that Sage is kind of all in on her own angle now. Like it's her way or the highway. Homelander's got to go. Soldier Boy's got to go, and she's all in. I think it's just perfect time with all three of them.
Yeah, and the thing about Sage that reveals in this episode, we'll get to in a little minute, if you finally get some reveal of what her plan was actually like going to be if things go wrong. We get the final part of her plan, but it was like, that's it. That's all you had. It's kind of leaving last episode, and we kind of get it revealed here. So we'll get into that as it continues to go. But I think Sage shines in this episode, and I think that character does really well. Now, while they're failing to replicate V1, Golden Geisha, who's a character that knows bomb sight from the past, an older soup, they find out she's going to be at Vault Villages, which is kind of the old folks home, which is a fun in itself. So basically, Kimiko and the boys have to go over there and get Gracie the information out of her by hook or by crook. And this is the one thing, they need information. They're going to do it by any means possible. Usually, you give it up, you might be all right, or they're going to start breaking bones. I was cutting stuff off. So one thing here where Chad Vanderbilt is basically like, man, what the heck is wrong with y'all? like I've been around soups all my life. You have to be the bunch of worst people I've really ever met.
And you know what? I think this episode also highlights even more that MM has given up on seeing his whole family, because they even making a comment about, man, you just like Butcher. I can't tell the difference. And you see on MM's face for a second, he's like, oh man, I'm turning into him. But then he realizes once again, like he's given up on seeing his daughter, so he's gonna do everything the Butcher way. Because at one point they have other suggestions on how to deal with it. He's like, nah, Butcher's way is the only way that makes sense. Let's get in here, hit him hard, and let's leave. I like that. I like that he had a little bit of a character change this season.
Yeah, we're kind of in the middle of the season, so you kind of feel like the way he started, he had kind of given up hope. He's more on that end. It feels like in this episode he's kind of teetering a little bit. He's more so thinking about his actions, and he has some moments with Sage. He has some moments with Vanderbilt where he's in here like, maybe I kind of do want to see my family again. And maybe is this the best way to go about it? You know, is us committing these acts so harshly, like, you know, even though we're doing what we have to do, like, is there a better way? Is there a way I can kind of have some redemption here? So I do like they add some complexity to that character who's been mostly one note through this season, but they're finally starting to give some dynamic there that he's had in the other season. So I do like that a lot. So obviously they're heading over to Vought Villages to handle that. Also, too, we have Ashley and Ashley, too. I guess I'll call it the other Ashley, who is just basically complaining about Sage's plan, saying, hey, I was drunk. Like, you got in there, you poured me a whole full glass of whiskey, which is never a good idea. I got drunk and I agreed to some plan. That is ridiculous. And basically, Sage wants her to read the minds of Soldier Boy and Homelander, which can and probably could get her killed. So she definitely doesn't want to do that. So Sage says, you know what? I had a backup plan for that. I don't need you. I need the other Ashley. Obviously knocks her out, puts the chloroform on her, and uses the other Ashley to read Soldier Boy's mind, and finds out that we get a little more, I guess, illumination of Soldier Boy and what he's thinking. So basically, we kind of get that he's proud of Homelander in some sort of way. He also like wants to help him out. So he's kind of not all the way flipped, but pretty 75% into helping Homelander kind of see this through and get the V1.
You know what? And for me, that was like the worst part of the episode. I think it was a really good episode, but I was like, man, I really did not want Soldier Boy to be on Homelander's side. Because Soldier Boy is, you know, love him or hate him, he's a big character. Like he's huge personality. Everybody wants to see him. I think it was cool when he kind of stood on his own and was kind of like picking on Homelander. But with them both together, I'm like, wow. So now is he just going to take a back seat to Homelander now, and that's all his characters are going to be? Because I feel like we're going to see less of Soldier Boy's personality now that he's just kind of a lackey. You know, I'm lacking better words here.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna, and I feel like we've got enough of Soldier with personality, but it's just so great every episode where he comes in and you just like hanging out with him. But I feel like we've gotten enough. Getting to these last two episodes where stakes are gonna obviously get higher, and this is obviously the third, so I'll say last three episodes where stakes are going a little higher. I feel like we got enough, but I get what you're saying. It's cool having him as his own person and not exactly being like him and Homelander, just been like having our Soldier Boy moment and then having our Homelander moment, because them two apart do such a good job, and then them two together, it's good, but it's just them bickering, and it's not as good as the moments we get when they're kind of apart and solo. I think of the bunches that we've got, they're kind of generic because they know those characters are just so strong individually that together it just kind of like, man, I wish we had more moments with them and maybe split them up so we could do that. So that's going on. Obviously, you know, when Butcher and all them go down, we're gonna start to have problems, but we do get a break with that moment with Huey and Starlight. I said Firecracker like a million times yesterday. Now I can't get Starlight out, but yeah, so we had a good moment with them. I thought it was a little moment for Huey to kind of have maybe a little bit of redemption as well. So it kind of alluded to it last episode where we saw the vantage point of terror, just kind of the human side of it. We get to see a little more. I thought it was a small moment here, but a good one where Starlight's like, wow, like even in the circumstances we have, you just have more hope and you're kind of as stronger than anybody I really know.
And that's why Huey has to go, man. Like he has to go.
Oh, like, here we go.
Get rid of all the hope in the show, make it extra dark, Zack Snyder dark, or get rid of Annie, and then that line will be really, really important, because then he's going to turn around like an iconic turnaround after she dies, and he's screaming no, and he takes what's left of some V1, and then he turns around and says, I don't have any hope anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a 0% chance I want that to happen, and I think that would fall in love with some of the bad writing that we've got in this season, but whatever you say. So, obviously, we know the boys rolling in. There was his old folks home. It's going to be a fight. And obviously, they go in there first, and the old folks home have all the smoke where they're like, yeah, we're old, but we still got powers. So, definitely good luck with that. So, they got to come back and kidnap Golden Geisha, which definitely turns into a fight. Creative stuff. We do get another instead of a long dick in this one, we get a long pair of balls that somebody wants to fight with. So it's always around every corner, and certainly some jokes with Vanderbilt definitely in there along the way. So as that goes on, we also have Soulja Boy and Homelander fight. So we just released a video. If you saw it, I was like, I wonder how long this Soulja Boy Homelander love fest is gonna last. And I was like, oh, I hit it right on mark right before this episode, because obviously they had some infighting. So Sage's plan going from phase 2 to phase 3 start to unravel, and obviously she pits them against each other by having the now I call her Claire, but it's Stormfront, having the video of her up there and Soulja Boy saying, you're just playing me. Like, why would you do that? Like now he's back pissed off, and now we're back where we want these two kind of not liking each other and just dealing with each other. So we do have that moment there where he just punches him in the face. Like, yeah, I really don't like you, and you don't need to be one.
Yeah, and that's where I think both these characters shine together, is when they're at odds, but kind of working towards the same goal. The whole Soulja Boy warm up the Homelander thing is not, it's not tickling my fancy at all. Like, not even a little bit. But everything around it was good. I saw, we got to hear more dialogue on Soulja Boy. Soulja Boy just kind of played it off in the last episode, but now he says he really loved her. And then his son also really loved her. And there was some kind of weird backwards way that brought them both closer together.
Yeah, it was very weird, but
it's just like the hills have eyes, kind of close together.
That's true, boy. So that kind of happens, which gets us to the crux of this episode. But I want to take a quick minute. Make sure you like that video. Hit the comments down below. I have some questions for you, so answer those down there. And leading up, I do want to talk about what the boys' last hope would be at the end of this episode. Might title it that, but definitely want to talk about that. So quick minute, like the video, share it if you like what you're seeing. All right, jumping back into it. So basically here, as that is going on, we get Starlight and Huey working together at the church. They didn't go along with the boys, the rest of them, to the old folks home, and we get another time with Old Father where they're seeking ends. Their plan is put the virus in the spray bottle, have it spray when they're all in there, and kill everybody in the hopes Homelander hasn't got the V1 by then, and it worked out. I thought this was a really good moment in the episode, because at that time we do kind of go back into the history of Old Father and Starlight's relationship. As we know, she grew up in the church, and obviously has some background with him, which I either had forgot about or just they hadn't really shown it enough. I kind of forgot they had a background, but I thought it was a good moment between those two. And even still, I feel like Old Father is keeping it close to the vest. I do still want to do another video on him, but I feel like he's just there's more. I feel like there's more to him than just this Homelander's God now and he's here and kind of that moment. I'm thinking there's more, but I don't know. What's your thoughts on that?
I think you are completely 100% wilding right now. There's nothing to Old Father. He is an altar boy that thought everything was all good in the church. That's it. He's just like a peon.
Well, clearly he didn't think everything was all good, because he just squandered millions of dollars. He's manipulating people. Yeah. I think he's manipulating Homelander to a certain degree.
I don't think he can manipulate Homelander. He has the mega church silver tongue, not the silver tongue to talk down to the people that already know what you're doing is a sham. Like, this dude is mega church evil. Maybe a little step above mega church evil.
And what do mega church evil people all have in common? They're for themselves. They don't care about somebody else or propping somebody else up. But
this guy, I don't think he needs a better direction, because what is his main goal going to be? Yeah, well, it's not the V1 anymore.
I'm not saying he needs his own direction or arc. I'm just saying I don't think he's as with Homelander as he's coming off the B. That's what I'm saying.
I got you. I think he's more with Homelander than when he's demon off the B.
Okay, well, fair enough. Also, we okay, I'll bet $1. We do get that moment in there where Starlight, she does see Firecracker kind of reveal of her death and the backlash of that. But just see that real quick, and it kind of makes her feel sad. Obviously, we know the backstory. Like, basically, she kind of made fun of Firecracker back when they were kids and didn't make her life very easy. So kind of a sad moment in there. But to say the day, we do get to see Father's power. He's definitely keeping Starlight from doing anything. So I wonder now how strong he is, especially seeing that Starlight watched Black Noir, which we will get to later. But yeah,
I was watching that fight. I was like, oh, is this the same Starlight that was beating the hell out of Black Noir?
Yeah, she just can't move or doesn't use any light. And I will say this, maybe she's not trying to hurt him or blind him or something like that. Like maybe. But anyway, Huey comes and saves the day with the virus and they get out of there. Yeah, so I'm now wondering if they actually planted the virus successfully or he just took it and they got up out of there. They kind of don't really wrap that up. So let me know in the comments because I don't know if they actually execute that plan fully. They just kind of cut that scene. It's like, well, did he plan it? Did he get it in there, have some extra? Did he lie? Like, what's kind of going on with that? But on the bigger and better things, we do get an Ashley presser and maybe the funniest scene in the show. One of the funniest scenes in the season for me, where she talks about the pipeline breaking and the oil spilling. And you get a cut to the Deep who's trying to save fish, and he resuscitates the fish back to be like, you lied to us and you suck. We all know, we all hate you. I thought that was one of the funniest scenes of the episode.
You know what? I'm gonna throw him some bail here. I thought that was the only touching moment in the episode.
Possible. I don't agree with that.
I felt for him for a little bit because when he went to the fish. And the fish was saying, "Oh, we know it was you, Kevin." I thought self-reflection. This was what I thought at first. Let me say, not what I think. What I thought at first, because the way that his eyes looked, how sad he was, and I thought like some self-reflection was coming in. Oh man, I did this for Homelander, and it turned out to be a sham. Like I messed it up. I killed all these fish. I thought that's how it was going to go throughout the whole episode. Okay, I didn't know the next scene was coming. So
yeah,
you know.
So you clearly thought this out better than the writers did because I have a major complaint that I'm even going to cover in another video. But there you get there. Okay, so obviously as that goes up. We obviously go back to the old folks' home. We know Bomb Site has a V1. Golden Gate should kind of sets that out. But we do what I think was the most touching moment in the show as far as character, which would have been maybe different if that first moment you said had gone like that. It was a Kimiko Frenchie moment. I thought the moment with them were good where she's like, you know, we can take this V1 and be immortal, but then we got to watch y'all all die and live this generation after generation. And we're kind of seeing that play out in front of us with Bomb Site and Golden Geisha, and obviously with those characters come in. So I thought, I think Golden Geisha, I don't know the actress's name, but it does a great job in this episode portraying just what things are like being a supe, being an aging supe, which we really haven't seen really in this series too much that I can really remember. So I thought that part has played out well, but also to the fact that both Annie and Kimiko are like, we'll do this because y'all want us to do it, but we don't want to live forever. We don't want to see you die, but we'd rather be in pain later than y'all be in pain now. And I thought that was kind of the heart of the episode.
Yeah, it was. I mean, between those two couples, yeah, like from the very start of when Geisha said, yeah, he offered to me, I just didn't want to take it. Bomb Site showing up, Bomb Site with immediate emotion, you know, that he thought she was in danger. Another quick note, Bomb Site, even though it seems like he can actually fly, he looks like he has kind of like the powers of Cannonball from X-Men. Dude with kind of like the jet propulsion. Yeah, that's kind of reminded me of good. It was good. CGI is pretty good. But yeah, the touching moments between Golden Geisha, who felt for the boys, kind of, but also still loved Bomb Site. Bomb Site was on the other side, who's still in love with Golden Geisha, wants her to live forever. That whole arc. So you know what? I'm wrong. It's quite a few touching moments in the episode.
Yeah, I think that's the best one. And also too, with the original Vault 5, we're gonna do a video on their powers and what they do. We can expect for Vault Rising. So be on the lookout for that. But yeah, I thought that was the most touching moment. But like with all good things, that has an end. Sister Sage is obviously shows up. Now she's working with, you know, the boys, and she's like, look, and we were like, who's you gonna work with? Is it Stan Egger? Well, he's locked up. Who's the next best choice? It would be the boys because they get stuff done. So obviously she goes over there. She texts Soldier Boy to show up to there to help get the V and keep it away from Homelander, which doesn't go well, but we'll talk about that in a minute. But she's working with them. We started playing, still fully delving out. As we were doing that, we cut to, man, maybe the worst death in the series. So we have the podcast going on with the Deep and Black Noir. We come and find out it was Black Noir who was powerful enough to go down there, swim, punch a hole in a pipeline, who knows how far underwater, and swim back up. So something like you would think a Homelander would have done, something like that. So does that, obviously tells Deep about it. They start arguing, and we got the worst fight scene, death, just a mess of writing in that scene.
A part of me wanted to be a conspiracy theorist and one of these silly guys that sometimes we get. I wanted to say, oh, he's not dead. It's all part of the master plan of Stan Edgar. Oh, man, he'll be right back and then he'll be Homelander. But no, that was just a terrible death. And that was like you just go up behind him and stab him in the neck, and then he's like, oh, man, yeah, losing blood. I'm out. Damn, like you can fly, super strength, super speed. You heal faster. I'm hoping he heals from it, but they
didn't make it seem like they were going to.
It did not look like it at all. So that was silly.
Yeah, I hope for writing's sake he somehow has a healing factor we don't know about it yet, and it can recover from it. But if that's what they give us, man, like you said, we've seen, and I think, man, I'm going to do a separate video on Black Noir. I think that's maybe the most wasted character and the worst arc completely with both of them throughout this whole series, because it ended up leading to really nowhere. I thought the first one didn't end bad, but it ended kind of abruptly. And then this one is like, that's bad. So yeah, with all his powers and the fact that we've seen him fly, we've seen him take bullets like right to the chest and bounce. Like, what the heck was that knife made of? Like, that's like my question. Like, vibranium? Like antimanium? Like, what was that knife made of for him to go down that easy without even like really trying, just getting choked and having to take the Deep of all people who has never been a great fighter in the show. Like, I don't remember the Deep. Is that the first the Deep is killed?
No water around, nothing for him to do.
I don't even remember the Deep killing anyone. Like, I think they
killed regular people.
Yeah, like anybody with any level of power. I don't remember him killing anybody of note.
Maybe he might have killed somebody at Herogasm, but I had to watch the episode again. But that was terrible. I really hope they let him heal from that somehow. He doesn't have to be a big character, but bigger than that, because come on,
it's a waste.
You can do all that, and then in the studio, first you let him get behind you so you can press some buttons, and then it's like, oh, I'm just going to choke you out and stab you. That's regular people stuff on the subway.
That's not even. It's like that's like a self-awareness.
Right there.
It's like a self-awareness.
Yeah.
Especially when you're the one who has the weapon. Like, he didn't even have anything. It's just bad, man. But anyway, well, we're going to talk about that in another video. But we want to acknowledge that was terrible. So as we go, Homelander finds Vanderbilt, who is not hard to find because he always goes back to this movie shop. Also, too, I got to mention, because we go to AMC now, and so I've been going to AMC for years now to see all our movies for our movie reviews. That Firecracker trailer was so on point. I forgot to mention it earlier, but so on point to that. What is her name? The actress ad. God, I can't even remember. Nicole Kidman. Nicole Kidman ad that we sit through every AMC
every time, man.
Yeah, it was so on point.
It Maria Menounos, and then now she's rarely there.
She had the game. I love Maria Menounos, so that's one of my OG crushes. But at least then it was trivia. But that ad, that's just a perfect ad. That was a great moment in the show. But so he goes back there. Homelander obviously finds him, kills the other guy for no reason because he was there.
For no reason. This is a kid out of high school just trying to make a way. And you killed him. You could have appeared and asked him to go somewhere for a second.
Yeah, like that kid still think he working there. He don't even know he dead. It happens so fast. But it goes to one of the better moments in this season, which is just the talk between Vanderbilt is not scared of Homelander. He's dealt with supes all along. So he's really not scared of what surprises Homelander, because he taps on the shoulder. He's like, hey, you're not scared of me? And he's like, look, man, like, do what you gotta do. He's like, and dude, I think he has a great moment where he says, look, you could chase this V1 as long as you want. You could do all this. everybody's time comes to an end. Everybody's time expires. We've seen it with Soldier Boy. He's immortal as well. His time came to an end, and that's how the new 7 we came brought up. Now he's back now, so that's a little different. But everybody's time comes to an end, and you're not always going to be in the limelight. And I thought that was a good moment for Homelander if he had not got the V1, and that was kind of the message of like, you're fighting this, instead of focusing on this, starting to focus on other things, and it'll probably work out better for you. I just thought that was one of the better speeches and moments in the show overall.
Yeah, it was. It was nice to see Homelander give some respect to a regular guy, especially a regular guy like him, who's just a wise, cracking, old fart to Homelander, and wasn't really useful until he realized that the taco receipt they found was obviously Sage baiting him. But yeah, that was a nice conversation. Homelander might have learned something.
Yeah, well,
for the rest of the episode.
Well, yeah. Well, but, he didn't learn something because, it works out for him. But the most important thing he did learn at that moment is they have basically life alert necklaces called vault alert necklaces where he can track to where Golden Geisha is. So basically he's on the hunt. We already know Soldier Boy was called over by Sage, and he shows up and we get a fight with him and Bombsight for the V1, which I thought was it was a pretty good fight that they have there to kind of smashing each other. I think this is going to lead to probably some stuff of them in fighting and Vault Rising. So as we talk about that, we'll dive into that more. But the biggest moment in the episode and stuff I want to get to is basically Soldier Boy convinces him, hey, I can take your powers away. That's the one special, really the best ability Soldier Boy has. I can take your powers away if I hit you with this, and you go on and live a normal life and not have to worry about this V1 stuff or dying or Golden Geisha dying, you being all alone forever, Bombsight. So kind of go with that, convinces him. Pretty good moment in there. Obviously, he takes his powers away, gets the V1. Homelander shows up, and we're like, what is going to happen next? We finally get to this moment when one of these characters has the V1, and Soldier Boy, despite probably every audience member's gives it to Homelander. How is he going to take it? He obviously lasers his wrist, cuts it open. I said the writers will find a way to write through that, so that wasn't really a big worry for me. Stabs it. He gets the V1. Eye beams to the sky, probably takes the moon out. You know what I'm saying? So the moon's gonna have next episode. You know what happened. And the episode ends right there, kind of on the biggest bomb drop of the season, most definitely, and one of the most in the series. I want to talk about this for a moment because now all those plans before this virus, all this stuff. Now, I don't think initially they're going to do this and it's not going to work well with Homelander. Maybe he can lose his powers later, but I think initially he's going to be this big immortal bad that we've kind of feared that he would become. Yeah. Where does this lead us, and where do I think this will go from here? I think now the boys are down to their last hope, which who has shown up in episode 7? Marie Monroe. And we did this last time when we predicted who Black Noir was, and the writers, a lot of people stuck by the writers. They said the writers said they're not going to go with that storyline. They were right on that one. The writers this time said Marie Monroe's not going to fight Homelander. It wouldn't end well for her. I'm going to double down and I'm calling Cap, because if Marie Monroe cannot take the V out his blood or do something of that, it's game over. So for me, I'm saying I'm thinking she's playing a much bigger role than what the articles and what that story that we, reported on is going to say. I think it's going to be either her manipulating something with the virus or her being able to take the V1 out of his blood, or the V out of his blood in general. I think it's one of those two, but I think in these last 2 episodes, she's playing a major role here.
You know what I think is the exact opposite. I think I'm cool with the whole manipulating the virus thing, even though the virus is fine as it is as of right now. It just can't kill Homelander.
Yeah, it wouldn't be able to kill him.
I don't see her even taking Homelander's powers away. I see her and Soldier Boy having some kind of fight, because imagine Soldier Boy and her fighting while she's trying to take the V out of his blood. He's also using his power to take away powers. Maybe they affect each other's powers in some kind of way. I'm thinking she's going to have a showdown with Soldier Boy. What I think is also going to happen is Sage, because Sage is still around. Who knows? Sage may find a way to escape. Those tests she was doing, as Homelander was saying this episode, is that she's smarter than the creator of V. Maybe she already knows how to make V1. Or maybe she can learn how to make V1 quickly. And I think it's going to be a showdown between Homelander on V1 and somebody else on V1. I don't think Marie's going to take his powers away at all. I don't see that one.
Yeah,
We're in the exact opposite here. Better die.
Because for me, there's two. You're now down to three people. You throw in Sage. It's pretty much Sage, Soldier Boy, who clearly seems to be on Homelander's side to give him the V1, knowing damn well like he would have had trouble taking him out without the V1. Now he can still take his powers away, but he's made that thing a lot harder. So it's either him, Marie, or Sage. I don't see anybody else being able to contend with that. Even Butcher getting V1 or somebody like that. I still don't know how that would work out, and maybe we'll get just a big boss fight to end this. But I would rather instead of a big boss fight, it's done smartly, and maybe Sage tricks Soldier Boy into using his powers to take somebody else's power away. It hits Homelander. That could work out well. Maybe it's with Marie, who, for title of the video, I think that's the boy's last hope. I don't think Sage is the boy's last hope. I think it's Marie, and she coming in and it's right on time for what just happened. So I'm thinking it's some mix of that, and definitely down in the comments, let me know what do you think is going to happen. What's the contingency plan for now? A big bad Homelander, because could the V1 offset with the V he had and him lose his powers in general? Maybe that could happen at episode 8 or something like that, but we got to get boss Homelander for at least an episode or leading into almost the end of the show at this point.
Yeah, I'm cool with seeing it. I'm cool with seeing it either way. I just don't think simply taking his powers away is the answer, because I'm like, well, you could have brought her out at any time and done this, depending on how he decides to move on now that he's a god. If he can control all these powers, he probably won't even be in the 7th tower, and they got to find out even where he is. He's probably going to have his own huge tower that he makes for just himself. So yeah, I'm cool with it. I just don't think she should be the one to do that. I think they should make her, do more in her show coming up, The Boys Mexico.
Yeah, well, they did save the Jimmy characters for this moment, so we'll see what they do. But yeah, I think all hell is really going to break loose, because basically now that he's invulnerable to this virus, there's nothing stopping him from hunting the boys down, and I think he's going to go tearing cities apart, looking for them and trying to figure out where they're at and coming after all of these people that have wronged him, whether it's in Vought, the boys, superheroes he don't like. Like I really expect the bloodbath of non-main characters, because obviously you got to kill them out meticulously to really ratchet up in these last couple of episodes, and people he just don't like, Stan Edgar maybe included, just wipe them out and wipe them off the board, and we get kind of a doomsday sort of scenario. So let me know what you were looking forward to in the comments, but I think that's kind of what's going to happen in these last 2 episodes, and the last hope is like, we got to get this V off, or we got to juice somebody up to kill him.
Yeah, it could be, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, it could be, and then he still might be a challenge. I'm just thinking that when you take the V out of his blood, what happens after that? Is he still going to fight? And then at that point, is the virus still around? You're going to lure him to the church or something? What's going to happen here? Because I think that church virus thing isn't even going to work. Because I think you're just going to laser up the whole church and say, I need something bigger anyway. Yeah,
if they have planted it, probably that. I mean, I don't think that's going to work. Also, I think taking the V out of his blood would damn him to end, because I think that's still taking his powers away. Like, it's taking the V, the old V, the new V, all that to bury where he's a regular person. I thought that was that would be the most damning, result for Homelander, is to not have any powers, because that's been the one thing proponent, because he's just not a mentally strong person. But yeah, we got plenty to talk about. So definitely stuff to break down this episode. Looking forward to, because we might be dropping. I mean, we got 2 weeks left. So we might be dropping at least one, possibly 2 videos a day just on the boys, as well with our other stuff as well. So look forward to that. Come in and make sure, again, like that video, share that greatly appreciates us. That sub button. Scotty, they're not here on YouTube. After they've already liked our video, hit the sub, all that stuff. Where else can they find us at?
You can find me at Kuronocomics on TikTok, MLF Shorts on all social media, Minor League Films on all social media, even the Gmail, and that's about it.
Yeah, man, always shouts himself out first. Just kidding. Yeah, make sure to do that. Again, don't forget to answer those questions below, and let me know your theories going on, and look out for the other videos we got coming. All that good stuff. A banger episode finally. We're done with the filler. All stakes are high. Can't wait till the end of this show, and want to continue talking about it. So join us all season long. All that good stuff. We will catch you next time.